I'm making a TTRPG called Triconomist, and in that game, there are a lot of different aspects when it comes to lore or world building, but who cares what I made if no one's going to go out and see them? Well, that's where travel comes in, and travel is essential to any TTRPG that takes place in a broad world, and Triconomist definitely does. So pack your bags and get your notebooks ready because we are talking about travel today. One thing about travel that I really think should be normalized is that the players should feel important. They should feel like their decisions are doing things while traveling, and it shouldn't feel tedious. It is pretty much the only aspect or rule set of this game that I think should be completely optional. I do not think you should avoid fast travel. I think you should do anything that you can to enhance the narrative of the story and to make sure your players have the best time. Which means if traveling from one place to another is going to hinder your players' fun, forget everything I say in this video because it's not worth it. It's not. I've had some games when traveling takes a whole session and no one likes that. I'd much rather it be a montage of just cool things that maybe you let the players describe what happens during that time. Base it off the players, and if they want to travel or if traveling is the main part of why this adventure is happening, then try these mechanics out. Let's find out exactly what they are. So travel mode actions. There's 3 things you can really kind of do while traveling. You can obviously travel or move. You can rest or you can explore. I should tell you real quick how time is tracked. On the GM's main sheet and on the travel guide that I made, you got a triangle, trichotomist, you got morning, evening, and night. Each one of those units is 8 hours long, which means, you'll have 8 hours from morning, 8 hours from evening, 8 hours from night. It doesn't really matter, it's just a way for you to tell your players, the sun is starting to lower and you feel the cool breeze as night is approaching now. Tell them that the world is progressing. Tell them that what they do takes time ultimately, and sometimes time is a very precious thing, especially in some time-sensitive quests and missions that they may have. Disregard this if it doesn't matter. Sometimes you're traveling just because, but this is tracking time when it comes to traveling is important whenever there's like time-sensitive matter that you need to do. Maybe you have an option to travel through the mountains because it'll be faster, but it's riskier, and you might have to make that hard decision if you need to be there by sundown or you need to be there by this week. There's options there, but again, that's all they are. They're options. Throughout the map, I have a bunch of hexes that appear. This isn't a hex crawl game by any means, but on the map, you have a bunch of hexagons that are very faded. Basically, the idea is whenever you go from one hexagon to the other, that's like a couple miles, so it's going to take time. So if you're on foot, it'll take 3 units or 1 full day to travel from one hex to another. If you're on a vehicle of some kind, like maybe a horse or maybe some kind of other kind of vehicle, then it'll take 2 units. But if you're traveling through water like on a boat, it only takes 1 unit. So traveling on boats is preferred on most cases. Again, I might change those up, I don't know, but if you want time to be a factor, that's how it is. I want the players to feel important during this part of the game, so what I implemented are different tasks that they have. You got a navigator, you got a scout, and you got a survivalist. So in each hex there are, not all of them have it, but some of them have a marker that determines their difficulty. This is based on a lot of factors, how actually difficult the terrain is. Maybe it's like there's deadly people that live there, limited resources that they're able to gather in order to travel. All a bunch of different reasons for maybe why they are more difficult to manage traveling through. There's a yellow triangle, which means it's active. Maybe you should look out while traveling there. That takes a 5 to succeed. Or dangerous square, red square, which means it takes a 6 to succeed. A navigator rolls for knowledge. A navigator, if they succeed, they gain information about the terrain that they're in right now. That could be something simple, that could be a huge clue, but if they fail, then the travel takes an additional unit of time, or they get a little bit lost, which is, you know, silly and it's small. The navigator is kind of the lowest stakes of all of them. The scout is my personal favorite. The scout, they roll for instinct, and whenever they do, if they succeed, they find out about a possible encounter that may happen. Maybe they're traveling, the scout says, wait, hold, I recognize these tracks. Then you know something might happen. However, if the scout fails, then that encounter happens, good or bad, because they're not always bad. Then they will be surprised by that encounter, which is a scary thing to present to your players. If your scout fails and you say everyone, the scout doesn't pick this up, but, and then as you're about to describe what you're about to say, the fear and dread that will start to appear in their eyes, like, holy crap, what are we about to fight right now? And it might not be a fight at all, but the very fact that they are going in blind to an encounter is an exciting thing, and that's what the scout provides. And the last one is survivalist. They will also roll for instinct, and if they succeed, they find the proper necessities and avoid hazards. This is a preventative one. But if they fail, the group adds 1 stress. Either that's from just general hunger, maybe that's from not being able to gather enough resources to make a fire at night, and they spend the whole night, up scared or cold. You can be creative with how it works. And in fact, if they do fail, I want the GM to be able to ask the player, how do you fail? Or why didn't you succeed in your task? And they can describe that. It can be a cool little moment. Those are just some options of making the players feel important and making it feel almost like a combat kind of feel whenever you're traveling. That's only when you're traveling, when you'll use those. If you're discovering or resting, then it's different. If you rest, it'll cost at least 1 time unit. Again, disregard time if it's not important. And everyone can relieve their stress with a bonus die. You still have to use harmony in order to do that, but everyone gets a bonus die if they decide to rest at that point. And they can use this time to basically interact with each other, like have a little split moment, like around a fireplace, even when they are talking to each other, or maybe they're healing and doing whatever they need to do. Or they can explore. If they come across a really cool thing, they might want to spend 1 time unit to go check that place out. At that point, you step out of the whole travel, like dice rolling stuff, and you start to just role play how they interact with the world. This should be very encouraged by the GM. This is the whole point of traveling, is finding new things. And I think that they should use every resource they can to explore this world and make it feel genuine to the players. Make them feel like they stumble across, this magical creek, or maybe this artifact that is not supposed to be here. Be creative with it and really try to push your players to look around and make their own autonomous decisions to doing it. I'm going to make a whole nother video about why I hate, perception rolls and why it should be different. But for now, just know that it's important for the players to care about your world, and the best way for them to care about your world is for them to check it out and explore it themselves. Guys, that is it for the basic rules of Triconomist Alpha. I want you guys to leave comments down below. Please give me feedback on what you think should be changed, what you like, what you hate. I promise I'm a big boy, I can take it, and I want to improve on this. I want this to be something that we're working on together, and I want as much input as I can. All the videos here and beforehand, you can take all the rules I just said and apply it to whatever game you want. I will be building a character live in a future video, just so I can show you guys. Please stay tuned for future videos when I talk about all the specific abilities, all the classes, all the lore that's all behind this game that I've been working on for the last couple years. And yeah, please leave your likes and follows, and please subscribe if you want to see me turn this into something. That's the goal, is to create something that can make people have fun. Comment down below. I'll see you on the next one.